Flight boss, bitch, you know, for sure. You're now listening to the Mind of Terry's Moon. I'm the Archangel Uriel, and Dolo here to carry out God duties and motherfucking responsibilities. And right now I'm going to explain to y'all how the physical world is not your life. You do not live in the physical world. The physical world is, let's just call it death. When you are in the energy part of the frequency vibration, you are in the death part. You see what I'm saying? Now, you have the frequency, which is the birth. You have the vibration, which is the life, and you have the energy, which is the death. So the physical part of life is the death part. So if you are experiencing physicality, you are experiencing the death part of an existence. If you are experiencing a vibration, you are experiencing the experience of a vibration, which came second, which is time. All things that created fluid. Not time, but vibration. Vibrations created all fluids. You see what I'm saying? And time is a fluid. You see what I'm saying? And that's the experience, the growth. And then you have the frequency. That's the birth. You see what I'm saying? This is why when you're born, you don't remember where you was at before you was born and things of that nature. So, well, not everybody. I don't agree to them terms and conditions. But look, you see what I'm saying? So the energy is the death part. Now, everything is frequency, vibration, energy. Gas, liquid, solid. You know what I'm saying? Space, time, matter. Now, what correlates with all these? You see what I'm saying? What correlates with, let's go to the last one. What correlates with matter? Solid, physicality, density, shape, form. So I don't care if you want to go to the smallest degree in the physical world. If it have a dimension or is even spotted to be something that creates a dimension, it's part of the energy. And energy is the death part of existences. Now you have to understand different versions of lives. These are lives. These are existences. These are bodies. Frequency is a body. Vibration is a body. And the energy from it is a body. We know where frequency and vibration comes together, energy comes out of it. So light comes out of darkness, but darkness is barely a part of vibration. See, it's different worlds. Now, this is what I want y'all to understand. This is what I want y'all to understand. And this is why I say everything is a shapeless, formless, odorless, non-flammable. And then if you want to put it in some type of energetic realm, then it would be the gaseous state of the physical realm. Which gas, once we get beyond that, that's another realm of reality that I'm going to explain in another video. But for the most part, now check this out. Now, when we talk about the states, where the birth, the frequency, the vibration, the experience, then the death of that experience, which is the energy. Now, these been stretched out. So each of these have periods of times also. The birth has a period of time. The vibration, the experience have a period of time. The energy has a period of time also. So keep that in mind. The energy also has a period of time, but the energy point, the part of it, which is the solid part, has a shorter time frame than the frequency and the vibration. The vibration has a shorter time frame than the spirit, than the frequency. You see what I'm saying? So when you look at it like this, you got birth as a spirit, right? Then once you went into a realm of reality, you became a soul, you became an individual, because you separated yourself from all the other spirits, which when everyone is together, you work as an organization. So y'all are truly not an individual. All of y'all together is a big body. Together, y'all are as one. You see what I'm saying? This is where oversouls get their science and things from planets and stars. When I was a sun. But that's another video. But now when we come here and talk about the vibration, you become an individual that want to experience. So you throw your own spirit into a hole, a holy, into the void, and you leave it there based upon the colors of the rainbow ocean, which you use certain colors. Just like I was saying, in the rainbow ocean, the further and the deeper you go, it's like color spectrums, and you could get lost because in this ocean, it's not like the water in our ocean. In this ocean, you jump in there, and it's like an imagination. Like you create imagination and shit. The camera about to die. So the rainbow ocean is a different form of water. Fishes understand this vibration. You know what I'm saying? If you lived as a fish and you knew how to get back, I was a fish before. You know what I'm saying? So in the mind of a fish, right? When we going in the water, what you think is the ceiling, because you are earth being, in the water, what will be the floor and the ceiling to you? In the water, the floor will be what you think is the top of the water. So you looking at the top of the ocean and you seeing fish floating at the top. See, but what you fail to realize, to a fish, that's actually the floor. This is why when fishes ascend, they go lower down into the water. You know what I'm saying? But based upon how we flipped up in the direction that we are in, this is why things appear to be based relative to our perspective. You know what I'm saying? You don't really know what a fish look like. You just know based upon your perception and the elements that you're carrying and the elements it's carrying and the parts and the pieces that you're able to perceive. You see what I'm saying? Based upon what kind of vessel you're in. So when we look at, you get birth as in frequency, then experience is the vibration, then the depth of it is the energy, then you know you got birth and you're having an experience right now. So your soul. So a lot of times when people are trying to talk about the spirit, what they're actually talking about is the soul. You see what I'm saying? So when we talk about your soul is really spirit. The soul is your individual spirit. You see what I'm saying? So when we talk about your soul is experiencing, it's carrying all the memory. It's carrying all the memory and the baggage of all the space travel you went through and the astral realm. And then the energy is what's created from this. And this influences the energy. For an example of a frequency or a vibration or whatever like that, or a group of vibrations or group of frequencies do certain things in a certain relative moment, a certain shape and something like that will come out of it, then that would take on so many different lesser things to the point that it could become dense and come into the energy, to the point that when you see a physical shape of it, that means it's on its way of dying. You know what I'm saying? So the physical shape of it is something for a vessel can use, but that thing deteriorate. So I mean, not a vessel, but a spirit or soul can use as a body to move through. Otherwise, it's just going to be stiff as a rock. But once a conscious go in it, is able to have movement, a soul, an individuality, movement, emotion, motion, movement. You know what I'm saying? Time, it's experience, it's age. You see what I'm saying? So when we talk about the soul, that's tied to the vibrations. So when we get to this area of life, the vibration will play the yin realm, and the energy will play the external realm. So the external realm is things that you see, the light. You know what I'm saying? Physical things and things of that nature. These are things that's on its way of dying and on its way of ascending or descending. But the physicality of the vessel is not the same. The soul is taking this vessel. The vessel got created out of the energetic forces of the frequency and the vibration coming together. So what got created out of it is truly not, these things are still separate, but what came out of it was an accumulation of a mixture of a bunch of both of these things. You see what I'm saying? So when that thing come out of it, it's truly not both of these things. It's a mixture of both of those things. So it's its own thing. And once that do that 100 million, billion, thousand, trillion type times, right, it becomes a solid. It becomes physical. It becomes separate from what these two things was that created it in the first place. But these two things can act as parents and dictate based upon its rotation on what kind of shapes and forms way lower things that came into density is going to take. And then once these dictate what kind of shapes and forms based upon what's relative to them go down into once they dictate the shapes and forms that's what's lower is taken, these things up here can take those things as vessels to experience what they have created. You see what I'm saying? So when we talk about the dream world, The dream world is the real reality, the astral realm. Because think about it, when you think about your dreams, you already know what's going on. It's not a situation until you wake up like, man, I don't know who I was talking to or this, that, and the third. When you're in a dream, you already know what's going on. You already know what's the problem, what's the issues, who you talking to, and this, that, and the third. This is why you can have many dreams of getting chased by monsters or this, that, and the third, because your soul took many different vessels. And you're only going to be able to perceive what the realm of reality of the vessel of the body you took. So when you're born into a vessel, you start to learn how to your soul, spirit, start to learn how to perceive things, aka the body it built itself in. It started from the nucleus, that was the first body, all the way to the rest of the body, and that's ascending from the energy. When you see something that's talking about a nucleus or something like that, that's the first thing on its way. That's the first creation of a physical vessel, and this physical vessel do not live forever. No physical vessel live forever. They all switch off. Energy can't be destroyed. It can only be reshaped and reformed. But it get reshaped and formed by the spirit souls. You know what I'm saying? But the vessel, the energy, don't be destroyed. It can only fuck up and get old and dusty and things of that nature and take another shape and form. But it has to. The spirit has to make another vessel. You see what I'm saying? You gotta get with this. But it's in its own path, its own inner. Like the energy is on its own path now, its own being, own entity. Now your dreams, right? This carrying everything. So even before you was in this vessel, right? You had your soul still carrying those experiences from the last vessel. So you may have a dream in this vessel, and the dream may not make sense because it may not correlate to this third dimension realm of reality and how your brain, physical brain, perceives things here. So when you wake up, you're like, man, that shit don't make sense. But why didn't it make sense? It didn't make sense because it didn't correlate to your reality that you're in right now. So that's not to say it truly didn't make sense. That's just to say it didn't physically or logically make sense. But you could always make sense out of your dreams if you understand universal law, which is vibrations, because that's where that word is at. And if you want to know how to move in the yin realm, you can go to my videos and I'll let you know. You see what I'm saying? Now you see how things is real and it's really separate. It's like it's so deep. Then when you got to understand, you have to understand too, your dreams, it doesn't matter what shape and form you in, your soul, spirit is shapeless, formless, odor, is non-flammable. So it's going to take many different shapes and forms and go through many different realms of realities and many different dimensions when you're imagining or daydreaming or sleeping or things of that nature and dreaming. But you know what I'm saying? None of that has to correlate with this. You don't have to believe none of that with the physical realm, but this ain't the real reality. This is something that you're in to experience new things to add to your conscious, to your spirit, to your soul, your shapeless, formless, odorless, non-flammable gas. You're here to learn everything in this elemental world to add. So when you transform from this vessel, you can take a bigger vessel and not keep taking the same size vessels, aka keep creating the same size brains, keep going into the same size nucleuses. You see what I'm saying? You want to go to bigger ones. You know what I'm saying? You want to go into a sun type of nucleus. You want to go into a bigger type one. You want to go into a neutron star. You want to go into these type of nucleuses. All these from nuclei, whatever the fuck you want to call it with y'all English fucking languages. You see what I'm saying? Y'all had to learn that from them. But for the most part, you know, the energy is getting ready to die. So you're going to always transform and go into and be able to take different vessels. And there's always going to be beings that preceded you in that realm of reality that's already have vessels built, because your shapeless, formless, odorless, non-flammable gas is smaller than theirs. So you have to inhabit their body in order to come out in their world. You see what I'm saying? But you're not this. Your spirit conscious ain't becoming the cum or the fluids. Because if that's the case, it doesn't matter what realm of reality you go in. You will always have to come. Your cum will always create the same type of way you look. And we can see things out here. Everybody has different ways of different powers, different looks. They may be perceived the same as a race, but everybody has a different outlook on their race, and whatever race is. So that lets you know off the bat that the spirit, the soul, has nothing to do with none of that. You know what I'm saying? You could have been a bitch, a female dog, and just now got into a human vessel. So just because we could physically see you, that don't mean your vibrations and universal laws all the way there. That don't mean your shapeless, formless, odorless, conscienceless gas was even quite ready to inhabit a bigger brain yet. You see what I'm saying? You gotta think about this shit. So the dream world is the real world. You know what I'm saying? That's the real reality, because that's all that's you always been experiencing that. The physical one is the one that's about to be short and pass on. Then once you leave here, you go into another realm of reality, and you already have all the abilities from here. You get to carry that on to a higher vessel if you expanded your shapeless, formless, odorless, non-flammable gas. And right now you are on Earth, not the physicality that you think is Earth. Earth, the element, and the Earth element is just like fire, water, and air. Earth is practicality, growth, nourishment, caring. You know what I'm saying? Taking care of something, seeing the growth of it. Nourishment, planting seeds, you know what I'm saying, and physical and reality to a certain degree also. Physicality, right? So you're in stability and being stable. So your odorless, shapeless, formless, non-flammable gas came here in this being to understand that organ, that organization, that way of consciousness first. Once you get that down packed, you won't have to come back to Earth. So think about all the people who are stable here, and think about all the people who are unstable. But then think about what God represents, the real actual God of unstableness, shapeless, formless, odor, non-flammable, like shapeless for real, and then think about what people cling to and think was beautiful. It's something that's taken a shape and form. People don't even like their hair all wild and crazy. It has to have some type of shape and form to it. So you see what you actually cling more to was about to die, the physical, and you don't want it to die. But that's all energy. Energy is in the physical, that created the physical realm, and that's just one realm. And energy came from the vibration realm and the frequency realm coming together. They are not the same. See what I'm saying? Or it's not one becoming, because that's to say that the soul gets stuck, or the spirit gets stuck. And when you die, how your fucking soul and spirit gonna be stuck in the body? It won't be no reason for you to go cold then. It won't be no reason for you to be dead. Then you will have to agree to the terms and conditions that you like being in a reality of darkness. And you could create that for yourself. Now, you might create that for yourself, but I'm telling you that wasn't what it was. You just created that for yourself. So that if you want to be in that kind of hell, that's you. Flight boss, bitch. Goddamn air. Hee hee hee.